somebody big and strong to attach himself to because he liked to fight. And so he attached himself to this paramedic, and the paramedic found himself losing his temper, just totally out of character,
really?
wanting to fight with people. And so I talked with this man, and he said that he had jumped off the bridge, he had lost some money in the stock market, and he was drinking, and he just lost his temper. As he talked, he said that when he killed himself, he was really surprised to find that there was an afterlife, because he thought it would all be over. So he was upset that no one had prepared him for there actually being an afterlife, but he hadn't prepared himself. So he's really upset that there was still something that continued of himself. And then he wanted to talk more about the whole idea of what he was going to do next and what he was going to do to this guy to torture him. So he really was looking for answers about what to do with his continued existence. They do get upset about having to continue.
Nothing worse than a spooky entity who's upset. But, and there's so many euphemisms here because I guess if somebody would say, if somebody's acting out of character, there's always somebody justifying that and say, well, he's not his self tonight. I guess he really may not be himself. He could be somebody else. Could we say that the people we know, if they all of a sudden just say turn, that they've been taken over? Is that a high probability?
That is a possibility. Though it could just be that person revealing parts of their personality they had hidden before, but it's certainly a possibility.
And we have this, Larry of North Carolina. He has a question. Do you ever talk to him, Doctor? Have a one-to-one conversation? Yes.
Yes. I've talked to thousands of them.
Okay. And would you introduce yourself? Hello, I'm Dr. Gibson, and who are you, and why are you dead?
Probably a little more tactfully than that, but that's pretty much it. Pretty much it. And I introduce myself. I find most of the time when I'm talking with an entity, I try to find out why they're attached to a person, and then I try to find out what it is that they want from that individual, and then if they don't really give me a good answer or they don't want to leave, then we have to start the extraction.
Well, as you talk these entities down, then that make you sort of a nice exorcist?
That's one word you could use, absolutely.
And just a minute ago, you mentioned, say, one of the dead folks or spirits, whoever, could be angry because nobody prepared them. And I guess even the title of your book, Immortal Body of Light, I guess some people consider when they're dead. I mean, particularly atheists, I'm sure, they consider they just evaporate. But if they're dead and they're surprised and they wake up, whoa, I'm not really dead, but I'm spooky now. Who do you think should have been responsible for preparing, say, a person? Should it be a religious institution? Should it be clinical psychologist? Should it be the government? Should the government say, y'all need to be right when you die because we've got a country to run and we don't want you messing it up? I mean, who should have prepared him?
Well, it used to be something that the church would talk about with people, except that when the church talks about the afterlife with you, it's usually a black and white scenario. If you're a good person, you do one thing. If you're a bad person, you do another thing.
Pretty simple.
And what the research shows is that about 40 to 45% of the time, a person will see about what they expect from the afterlife in a near-death experience in particular. So if a person is trained as Christian or fundamentalist, they will see a Christian afterlife. If a person is trained Buddhist, they will see a Buddhist afterlife, etc. People tend to see what they expect for a short time. And then something happens where it doesn't really go along with what they expect. They see an opening or they see entities from another dimension that they don't fully expect. And close to half the time, people see something they don't expect at all. They see something negative, they see something that frightens them, and they come back. There was a good book by P.J. Atwater who talked about that research, especially with some of them with kids and near-death experiences. They show that there should be a lot of information and a lot of training that goes on in society that just doesn't.
Okay. Are you suggesting they come back to life?
I'm talking about from a near-death experience.
Okay. So they're not really
people that die and stay dead. It's hard to talk with them about exactly what happened.
But when you dead, the dead don't come back. Is that what you're saying? Or are they coming back?
Unless you talk to them in ghost form. But the people that are dead and then stay dead when you talk to them in ghost form, most of the time you're talking with someone who is in the attaching spirit, or what we call the hungry ghost state, where they stayed back for a reason.
Well, I don't want to be particularly facetious, although it may slip out every once in a while. But if you speak in ghost form, would it be something like this? Hello, how are you? I'm fine. I mean, is that ghost form? I mean, and that's how we're taught they speak, isn't it?
Well, when a person has passed, they're still a person.
Oh.
They're still just like me and you. I remember once talking to a little boy who had died in a car accident. And the little boy was concerned because his mommy wasn't anywhere around. Mm-hmm. And so he had found this lady who had died, and he just kind of hung around with her. And this lady went home, and the lady had a little boy. Mm-hmm. And he attached himself to the little boy, but when he did that, the little boy started acting in unusual ways. Mm-hmm. So I had to talk to him like you talk to a 4-year-old. Mm-hmm. They're just people, and you have to talk to them the way you would talk to anyone else.
You said...
And so when I see a person that has an attachment, I consider that I have two patients. I have the patient that comes in with the attachment, and I have the person that is doing the attaching, that is attached to them. Okay. And usually they're just as scared as a patient.
You know, Doctor, in your bio, there is not one reference to, exorcism, I guess, for one, and talking ghosts down and talking patients up. I mean, it doesn't sound like you started out that way, but something extremely traumatic has moved you into this whole new realm. 20 years ago, you didn't expect to be casting out demons or ghosts or whatever it is on that realm. Isn't that right?
That's true.
Well, isn't that one of the more honest forms? I mean, if you start out looking to do that, then I guess, as you say, the afterlife, you get what you believe. But if you come from one end of the spectrum, which clinically and your educational background, and I know they don't teach about spooks in any of these references of yours. So I mean, it has to be purely from something that is on the other side that has come to you, and on that realm, do you feel like you were selected in some way to carry out this life mission?
Well, my work doesn't focus on ghosts as much as it does the process of human evolution and enlightenment. I like to focus on individuals that are going through a transition in their consciousness, that want to have more spiritual growth and more spiritual understanding. And so I would say about maybe 10% of my work has to do with removing entities. Mm-hmm. The vast majority of my work, the larger percentage of my work, has to do with helping people who are going through what I call spiritual emergency or the spiritual growth crisis, where they begin to have experiences with Kundalini or seeing entities from other dimensions, and they don't know what's going on, and they think they're crazy, but they don't want to talk to anybody about it. So a lot of my work has to do with guiding people toward understanding those experiences and integrating them in such a way that they can live a normal, fulfilling life.
All right. Hey, we have this question. Do you believe that entities have an ultimate destiny? Are they trapped forever in their spooky self form, or are they here for a while and moving on? I mean, what is their ultimate destiny? What are they here for?
I do believe that entities have an ultimate destiny. I believe that over time, an entity will learn from its condition and move forward. Mm-hmm. Though some entities, if the cause of death was traumatic enough, they refuse to move on. They'll be very angry for, in some cases, hundreds of years, and they just won't move. They won't do anything.
They're just kind of stuck in the funk, huh? Hey,
they can be very upset for a very long time. It really depends on the person more than anything.
And won't that turn them into a poltergeist type of ghost?
It can. It can.
Has anybody ever referred to you as a ghost whisperer?
No, they haven't.
Besides